live. Hello, everyone. I see people
Yes.
trickling in already. Welcome, 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 welcome. And thank you, Yeyemide, for making our time to join. In fact, I cannot even hide how excited I am
I'm
because
so
I know
excited as well.
because I know that this conversation there's going to be a lot of tea. A lot
Yes,
of
so
tea will be spilled.
was feeling. Yes, so.
And I'm just so grateful that you were able to make our time. Thank you. I always value your insights, your expertise, your experience. I always value it. So thank
um,
you for making it. We'll just give it a few minutes for people to join in. Like I said, I see people trickling in already. Hello, hello. Make some noise
um,
in the comment section. Announce your presence. Don't be. This is Women's Month.
yes.
Let's be loud. Let's be vocal. Let's put ourselves out there. We're not playing small. That's not what we do. We're not
Mhm.
playing small. Yeah. Hello, Udak. I see you. Thank you for joining.
How you
Thank you,
doing?
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And whoever is on the line, thank you. If there's anybody who's watching this and seeing my face, my beautiful face for the first time, I remain Ola, your DEI bestie. And through Inclusive I help organizations and inclusive leaders ensure they get the best out of their employees and that their organizations perform at the highest levels of productivity, innovation, and inclusion, especially by fostering a strong sense of belonging in the workplace. My excitement is over the moon because it is International Women's Day. Like tomorrow is International Women's Day, and over here, it's one of my special days of action because one, I'm a woman, duh. And I do think it's the one time that the world really gets to focus on women's issues, and really talk about how we can do better to ensure that women access everything that they need to thrive and belong in every aspect of society, whether it's on the home front, whether it's politically, whether it's at work, economically, which we are focusing on today. I think that because for a long time, women were not sort of given the opportunity to maximize their economic potentials, we are still lagging behind when it comes to making the workplace a place where every kind of woman can thrive. And I mean every kind of woman in terms of the woman who's single, the woman who's a single mom, the woman who's married, the woman who chooses not to be partnered in any way. Every kind and shade of woman should be able to thrive in the workplace. And that's really what we come to this live with. And we're focusing on a very important, very niche aspect of womanhood, which is pregnancy and motherhood. It's a life shifting experience to be pregnant and to go on to be a mom. Like anybody who has carried a child can tell you that for free. And anybody who is mothering one, whether biologically, whether in any kind of way you have mothering responsibilities, you know that it is tough work. It's a full-time job in addition to whatever job you have. And we're going to be talking about how we can ensure that women really enjoy inclusion and can truly belong in the workplace. Women who are pregnant, women who are mothers. Let's talk about the dynamics of that balancing act between being a mom or a mom to be and being, an ace colleague at work, an ace employee. And I'm so glad I don't get to do this alone. We have a veteran to unpack this. It's one thing when you're pregnant and you find out that there's one baby in your uterus. It's another thing when the scan says baby A, baby B. And we have the lovely Yeyemide Fabamwo. Yeyemide is my friend, my
Thank you so
sister.
much.
to be honest, I am not going to talk too much because I know that Yeyemide, by the time Yeyemide is done here, everybody will be chasing me to be her friend too, but I will not agree. Yemi,
Pressure, pressure.
thank you so much for making our time to be here. I know how busy your day has been, and you are still an active mother of twins. And just making out time, making out time to do this means a whole lot to me, and hopefully to everyone who's listening and watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll pass it over to you to do a quick introduction.
Wow.
Tell us who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you unique. Let us into your world just a little bit.
Man, I was like the pressure, two things that so now when you were talking about that baby A, baby B, I felt it literally in my body. Like I could remember vividly those days of checking baby A, baby B. But hello everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Yeyemide Fabamwo. Um I live in the Netherlands. I'm a mom of two and I work in HR. So, what's my passion? I always say my purpose is simply to find simple ways to serve the underserved. And what do I mean by that? I feel like I always try to put people ahead of what my own decisions are. And I think that sums up motherhood. Two things I'll just say in my introduction. My name actually means the mother has come, and my purpose is always about putting people first, being the mediator. So it's a journey that I can't run away from because I'm reminded by everything I do. What do I love to do? I don't like to cook. I always start by saying that, but I like to eat. So if you need someone to keep you company while you're cooking, please, I would stand there and he'll band together and I would cook. I like to I like trying new places. I like hosting people. It's just that sometimes our busy lives doesn't let us do that. But I like when people are always around. I like just having fun generally. What else do I like? Maybe as I'm talking, we'll find out. I have two beautiful boys, and I love this topic because I think life actually chose me to have twins because
Mm,
you learn the true meaning of inclusion and diversity and belonging. I learned it by having multiples because you have two beautiful kids who come up from the same womb, same time, same
mm,
conditions, and they have individual
wow.
personalities, individual ways of living, the individual likes, choices. So it teaches you to to love people by who they are and not by who you think they need to be. And the second thing it has taught me when it comes to inclusion as well is everyone is different
Mm,
and you have to love everybody. So don't like it has my profession teaches me that every day, but my life now teaches me as well. Like you can't everyone is different. You have to love
yeah.
each other the same way and differently. And expectations from each person must be different as well. So that's me. I'm married to a beautiful partner as well. He's also in HR, so you can trust arguments at home and after at home are driven in conflict management styles.
Oh my god. Yeah, Mide, I think the very first time I saw you with your boy, I think it was in church, and I was like, God, I used to say that I wanted twins, but when I saw you, I went to him and I was like, eh? Expectation versus reality. The energy you need to run around with them. And I really appreciate what you said about being a twin mom teaching you about diversity. That struck me because there's no sort of deeper example of how
Mhm.
people can be born into this exact same circumstance
So
but be very different in the
yeah.
way they approach
Mhm.
the world. And that's just so beautiful. But I want to know the very first time you were told that you were having twins, what did those emotions running through you look like? And how did you really expect it to change your life, especially when it comes to your career trajectory in HR within the corporate world? I know that you're very driven, you're very talented, you've excelled so much. in your career before the twins, after the twins. But how did you expect that mothering of twins to change that experience for you, especially at work?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Awesome. So I'll tell you something that people will say they saw twins and one person fainted. I mean, when I saw it, I was so excited. I mean, I never knew the reality of twins from a closeness perspective. I just see it and it's so cute. So me, I was so excited. I was like, oh yes, twins. And then, oh my god, this is I was already planning. I was so excited. I think I didn't know the reality, to be honest. I was
Fair
the
enough.
euphoria of having twins. And I think luckily I actually had a very nice pregnancy as well, because people actually thought, okay, when you have multiples, that's the end. So the beginning part of my pregnancy was actually sweet. So I really didn't even feel okay, twins. I was so excited. I think when I got to third trimester is when it hits me, because I mean my blood pressure was like skyrocketing through the roof, all this kind of things. At that point, I still assumed, okay, this is just a pregnancy phase.
Hmm.
Once they come out, life will just be sweet.
All will be right with the world.
All will be right, you get. Mind you, these are also my first kids, so I hadn't had the experience of being a mom yet. The distance between me and my younger ones are not that much for me to know how it felt to have kids in the house. So I literally had an high expectation of what it looks like. And then when they came, I think that's when so I was still excited. I was so excited. Oh, they are here and all that. But for me, I think that's when it hits me like, wow, like to your point, expectation versus reality. It was a shock. I mean, they were blessings, they were beautiful, but then the work started. So when I hear people say, oh, my mom is not around, keep the baby, one baby.
Yeyemide, can you hear me? Sorry, I lost you for a second. Just when the gist was starting to be very, very, very interesting. But I know that we will be back on track. Just a second. I know that we will get Yeyemide back. The internet, the gods of the internet are trying their best, but they shall not succeed. Yes, loud and clear now. We lost you for a few seconds, but that's fine.
No
You were
worries.
talking about
Yeah.
you were giving an example where people are like, I can't feed the children because my
Oh yes, because I was like, I didn't get that break, because from day one it is two. So I think that was the day my life changed. Literally, I always say that because there was no sleep. So I just look at people when they say, "Oh, okay, one baby." My husband took one baby for today, so I can't sleep. I'm like, "Oh, how cute!" Even if my husband takes one baby,
the
I still
other
have the
one.
second one.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, but I think that really changed me in different ways. Um, Beautiful experience. Like I said, I was so excited to the end of the pregnancy. But
Mm.
I think the reality was, so now when people tell me they want twins, I'm like, come, let me sit you down. mm, Let me explain to you if you want your
Break
baby
down.
girl lifestyle. Like, let me break it down for you. Yeah? If you still want it, just then go ahead, come and hug me and get all the blessings from it. But yeah, so I think that's how I felt
Yeah.
throughout that journey.
But did you
Mhm.
expect it to change your career trajectory or experience at work in any way?
So I think I was very optimistic, like I said. So at first I didn't expect it. So I mean, I had heard people, I have friends, everyone that would say, "Oh, when you give birth, forget career, things change,
Mm.
and all that. So I came at first very, very optimistic to say, oh, I can do anything. Don't worry, bring it on. It happens. Am I the first? But I also thought of the fact that, okay, will I be able to make decisions? Like, will I just close my eye? Because then, oh, you need someone to go to this place. I'll put up my hand. Like, don't worry, I'm ready. You need someone to work till 12 midnight.
Mm,
I'm there. Don't worry, I can work till 1 a.m. for you. So I kept on thinking to myself that, will I be able to keep up the pace with all this? And but then also having maternity leave for like, I think I had like 8 months maternity leave.
mm,
Um, so that also made me hungry to go back to work. And then I go back to work, things had changed. And I was like, maybe I should have just stayed in this maternity leave for longer. If they gave me a few times. But so I think that was when I now started processing like, ah, okay, it's work and motherhood together. So it was at that point that it clicked to my brain.
mm. Can you reflect back when during the pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
at any point that your employer or your manager gave you some kind of support that you really valued, or even
Mm-hmm.
after birthing the twins? I hear you talk about 8 months maternity leave. I know that that is luxury and might not even be possible for a lot of women around the world. So just talk to me about some of the considerations and some of the
Mm-hmm.
kinds of support you received that you really valued.
Yeah. I think first of all, having the right line manager or the right, support is very key. A lot of people might not have the luxury, but I also feel like sometimes we don't speak up none in that space. I think for me, the first thing is I had a line manager who was a young mom as well.
Mm,
So I feel like it was probably a blessing in that sense. Because the minute I announced I was pregnant, she told me, says, see, I already know the rating I'm going to give you. So don't bother yourself trying to work so hard. Like, don't try to kill the bank. Take care of yourself. Like, immediately she even heard it was twins as well. She'll be like, Mide, what do you need exactly? Do you need to come to work an hour late? Do you need to come to? So I think I had that support directly from my line manager to see um, what do you need? And there were some days I would just be tired, morning sickness would just happen all of a sudden. That I would just cancel meetings. And I would just, willingly tell her that, you know what, I don't think I can join this meeting. I'm feeling resetting.
yeah.
So I had that type of line man. And I think that there are still those type of people in the world.
Mm,
And sometimes it's just to speak up. Not a lot of people might be like that, but there are people like that. I always say you don't pick your line manager or you pick your work. So as much as possible, you can, speak out,
yeah.
be, take advantage of it. I think my company as well. So the policy was 4 months maternity leave, right? And then it was 4 months maternity leave. Then if you have multiples, they actually give you extra 4 weeks. So because I had twins, I had 5 weeks maternity.
Mm,
Then I had to take my
right.
leave, which made it 6 weeks, 6 months.
Months. Mm,
Yeah, then the beauty of being in the Netherlands, there was something that they do as well. They call it parental leave. So until the child is like one,
is that the
um,
unpaid one, right? The unpaid
so
period.
they have the 7 weeks, 80% P or seventy
Oh,
percent P. Yes. So I took that one as well. So and the luck, I think it was beautiful. It was 7 weeks per child. So before I could even get to the unpaid one, I was lucky to have double, so 14 weeks of the 70% P1. So I took that off as well. So I did. So that added to the 8 months that I took
wow.
in total. So I did like 12 months of that. But I remember that during the pregnancy, there was a time that like I said, during my third trimester, because it was multiples, my blood pressure was running high. So they had to put me in the hospital, right? And I remember how my boss just told me, close that laptop and you've started your leave. So for me, that was a game changer for me. Like she didn't even say send any handover. She didn't bother to ask about anything. So I
Mm,
think employers giving mothers or even pregnant mothers, that space to thrive is very important. what you also realize is some people, because maybe they haven't gone through it, or they've gone through it a long time ago, or they can't relate, or they've also seen people. And I think the other thing that struck is, even if you've gone through pregnancy, pregnancy is different for every woman. Even the same woman, she can feel it different ways if she's pregnant more than once. So
Yeah.
being open-minded as a leader, as a manager, as an organization, for people who are pregnant is very important. Wait.
Wow.
Um, because because I had some skip line managers out that almost treated it like you're not the first person, and the balance between, oh well, I don't want to look as if I'm selecting you because you're pregnant,
Mm,
or versus giving the right support was also there. So I had managers like that would just keep giving extra. So obviously, because I work in a matrix organization. So while my direct line manager was very supportive, I had other people that will still be asking me for input on this, input for that, what's the update on the trying to get on calls by 7 p.m. And my manager will be really pissed. She'll be like, no, Midi, I don't think I should see you doing that as well. So you realize that different people have different understanding of how they
mhm.
treat you when you're in that position.
Yeah, so sometimes it's not even just about organizational policy, but like individual application of the policy as well.
Exactly.
That's
Mhm.
always so mind blowing, to be honest. And
Yeah.
your experience is miles apart from my pregnancy experience with my daughter. It was in Nigeria. I was a staff of a Nigerian organization. Ironically, it was a women's rights organization. And the time I was visibly shocked was when my manager would be like, yes, you have a maternity, you have an antenatal appointment. Well, can't you go for your antenatal appointment and come to work after?
Back to what?
And even legally in Nigeria, you are entitled to that time off for antenatal appointment. But like they didn't care. It was like the work has to come first, whether you're giving birth or not giving birth. And
Mm-hmm.
there were also some people who showed consideration during that time. It was a mix, like you said. But I definitely did not. I and unfortunately, when I after I went on maternity leave, I transitioned from the role, and then
Mm.
have like a salaried contract. I was a consultant afterwards with another organization.
This is.
The consulting agreement was you get paid for the work that you do. And even though my daughter was what, 1 month, 2 months old, I still had to work because there was no provision whatsoever in the consultancy agreement for pregnancy. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like they didn't expect that part of me to exist while
This.
working as a consultant for them. It's like, whatever you're doing, we don't care. Just deliver our work. And it really pushed me to the edge, and, having to go to therapy and work through all of the emotions and all of the circumstances, which was really, really difficult. So it's great to hear. It's really uplifting to hear that you had
Mm-hmm.
more positive experience. Would you, looking back now in hindsight, would you do you think there's any other additional kind of support that you would have valued?
I think, like I said earlier, I think to your point of that support, and I'm glad you even got the therapy. So, like you said, even in my place of work, you find out like different employment types might have different, policies.
Mm,
And what we always fail to remember is that human beings are human beings in the end. So, as long as you're doing the work, like you need that 100% support in everything we do. I think me, interestingly, there were times that I felt like I couldn't speak out, I would say during the pregnancy, right?
mm,
Because I didn't want it to be an excuse. So
mm.
sometimes you don't want it to feel like an excuse for not showing up, right?
It's
You
almost like
know,
judging yourself.
exactly, yes. You're judging yourself. So having, people to assure you to say, it's okay. Like it's okay. And then I'm not saying cut me some slack because I'll still deliver. I know, but I'm saying cut me some slack. Like
But
Like I would do it, like, but don't baby me, or now make it a thing of say, oh, I didn't call you into this matter because I didn't think you would have anything to add, or I didn't want to disturb you, and then you go behind my back to do a number of things. So that happened to me a few times. I
Mm,
think in terms of pregnancy as well, I think same with you when you talk about antenatal, right? It also happened to me a number of times where you have an appointment,
mm,
and I'm still typing up Teams on my phone, right? Because I couldn't deliver something, or someone needed something urgent. And I think at some point um I think from the beginning of my pregnancy with multiple, yeah, I had to go weekly for antenatal. So it wasn't a case of maybe every 2 months or something. So it was almost every week. I was working maybe a 5-day jobs in 4 days. And it's slow because they are dragging and all that to go to different
mm.
appointments.
Yeah.
I think also a clear plan for the future. I think a lot of things, the support I would have required was really around. My manager gave me the optimal support. But it was like other people around who
Mm,
really impacted me. I think for me, I was also moving to a new country at that point. I was pregnant in a new country. I didn't even know where to buy fish. I didn't know where to buy yam. I didn't know where to buy anything. So it was very so even mentally, I wasn't um I wasn't okay. I was just relying on the support of my personal family. So I think sometimes, as organizations, as that constant check on mental wellness for pregnant women it's understatement, because you're quiet, you might not share anything. I was
yeah.
going through a lot. I didn't know where to do anything, but I was just keeping it to myself.
Mm,
And it was known that I was new to the organization. I was new to, sorry, the country, right? And all I knew was hospital, home, hospital, home, work. So that was literally my triangle
yeah.
and all that. So I think if I had found someone to speak to, open my mind up to, maybe I would have even found references, or someone to tell, oh, speak to this person, you can get something here.
Mm,
um, I think that was one. And I think that most things were actually about myself generally. So not asking out as well, not reaching out, not looking for as well. So I would just sit down and cry sometimes because I didn't know what to do or how to do something. You know what? There could have been a solution. So I didn't have
yeah.
a playbook, I didn't have a community, I didn't
Okay.
have a guide, I didn't have anything. So it was just there. So I think for me, it was that mental support that would
Mm,
have gone the extra, because yes, she gave me support to give me the time off work
yeah.
to do what I wanted to do. I'll literally just be tired,
Mm.
right? And still thinking about all these things I was doing.
Yeah, I find that some organizations these days have resource groups around parenting and motherhood. And that could be a game changer for you to already have
Mm-hmm.
that established community in the workplace where you can ask support, where you can get some strength and just not
Mm-hmm.
feel alone, because that pregnancy experience can be so isolating. Even when you have a partner, and I mean not all, some people go through pregnancy as single
Mm-hmm.
moms and moms,
Mm-hmm.
right? But even
Mm-hmm.
when you do have a partner, it's like the person can't really relate because you're the one experiencing
See,
all the physical
hmm.
and biological symptoms
But
that
it's our pregnancy, it's our
the pregnancy,
pregnancy.
and even after childbirth, right?
Yeah.
The drama around healing and all of that, it can be quite much. And I agree with you about that need, that specific need for extra support and community beyond your direct manager. I do agree
Mm-hmm.
with that. Now let's focus on now. You know, you've had quite some years of experience. You are now an experienced swim mom, if I may say so myself. What are those practical day-to-day challenges that come with combining that responsibility of two little ones, I mean, they are your blessing, they are your priority, but you still have to work, right? You still have
Yeah.
to grow your career because it's what you've chosen to do. You don't want to be a mom at the expense of your career growth, or grow your career and neglect your motherhood responsibilities or your mothering responsibilities. So what are those practical day-to-day challenges that come with combining both, especially like being in the corporate world where you if you were probably an entrepreneur, your experience would be different, but in the corporate world
Mm.
you have a whole organization to plug into. Your role is very critical as HR, like it's hands-on. Juggling both balls, what are those practical challenges and how do you confront them every day?
I think my deep breath should explain it fully. I think what I always, I think, like I said, I was very optimistic before going back to work. I was like, going back, I'll pick up from where I started, give me the handover, I'll kick it through, like,
Yeah.
give me more work. I was willing to even take more work. That's how, I don't know where a young mother will enter the workplace. We need to take on more work. But then, I mean, I had to put my kids in daycare, for example. So before I could say, okay, I'm working 9 to 5. And then after 9 to 5, I can work 6 to 9 p.m. Don't worry, I got this. I can give that extra. But just I need to wake up. I need to stand up, go and pick my kids from daycare. And if they are not even in daycare, they are home with me. I need to cook for them. So I did find myself in a situation where, first of all, I didn't take it easy on myself. So
Mm,
I didn't realize that you have to give yourself time to, like, I still wanted to be as ambitious as every other person in the workplace.
mm.
And I'll see other mothers, I would have forgotten that maybe their kids are 5 or 6 or 7. Or even at that, there's still
And their
challenges that
support
come with
system
it.
is different from you.
And they have strong support systems as well. I know. And there am I, trying to compete with them. When I think compete, so there's this action to be done. I'm almost looking lost because I had to leave work and I had to sort out my kids. So everybody has run their action. I'm still trying to struggle to do that as well. So I mean, there are a lot of sacrifices that I begin to realize I needed to make. Taking it easy on myself, giving myself grace. You know, understanding that it's okay to even just do okay for a time being. Especially when you're very ambitious, like you said before. Like I wanted to be stellar at all times. And even being out of the workplace, I think coming back, your life has changed. Your strategy of working has changed as well. The way you approach things needs to change in that space as well. I found myself a lot of times, I'll forget things. My kids will have appointments during the office hours, and there
Whew,
might be one important meeting with a business partner that I
yeah.
can't cancel, or a senior leader that I've been looking for time in his calendar for so long. I remember there was one time we went for an appointment, and my husband at me like, "Can you drop down?" Like, and for me, I knew that if I don't respond to this thing now, like, when next will I get the opportunity to speak to this person? So it's just that balance of sometimes, for example, I have my work emails, and then the appointment comes to my home emails. Like sometimes there was a day that I even forgot. I had double booked myself. The way I booked myself did not make sense. Like the timing between the hospital appointment, the home appointment, and the meeting I had, it just
Did
didn't make
not work.
sense. So it didn't work, and I was just scattered that day. And also, I came to realize that planning is number one, right? I think, like we mentioned earlier, support system was also very key. Like going back to work, building things around yourself to
Mm,
help you is very important. And sometimes it might be expensive, sometimes it can be, which is another challenge on its own,
yeah.
because it can be expensive. And Ola is my friend. She knows that me, I've even gone the expensive route, and now it slaps me. Like they use gun to shoot me after. That's a figure of speech. But basically, I took a risk. I even got, an au pair, and then,
Mm,
because even at that, as a mother, I've come to realize that mothering is not. having support systems and carrying your face away from your kids. No
Mm.
matter who you also have in the
You
house,
still have
half
to
of your
have
brain,
oversight. Yeah.
half of your brain, if not
Mm.
3/4 of your brain, is still looking there and still wondering.
Yeah.
Even when I'm at work, sometimes I'm wondering what are they doing in daycare, or the sweetest challenge. That's why I say sweetest challenge is you're just right in the middle of your day and the daycare calls you. Oh, we think you need to come and pick your child. They're running temperature today.
Ooh,
I'm like,
ooh.
what do you want me to do? Like, I don't understand where it's come. And you almost start having that mom guilt of, am I prioritizing career over my
Mhm.
kids? Or, so it was constantly a battle for me, like I said, and, consciously having to tell myself, okay, what's important is important. What's important is important. What's important right now. I had to continue telling
Yeah.
myself that because it can be so tough. It can be so. They're just in the middle of the day. I'm like, but I dropped this child by 9 a.m. We were not running temperature. How did you go and run temperature by 2 p.m.
Or
in
when
the daycare?
critical deadline and they start vomiting at night.
Then you now have to send an email. Like, and there was a point in time I felt like I was taking too much time off to take care of my kids, and I was even
Yeah.
taking care of my own self. Like, so I was like, this time off. It's not really time off. When people ask me, how was your time off? I'm like, how was my time off?
You mean when I was fighting life? Yeah.
Packing the vomit,
Or did you
packing the
say you
kata.
want to leave? Those kind of questions.
I'm like, how do I answer to these questions? I know. So I think those were the two main challenges I had that I
Mm,
would say, I think the third one is also as a mother as well. I think coming back to work, I think they say that thing of most mothers don't heal until maybe 3 years after your brain changes. I feel like my brain changed, to be honest.
to be honest.
Maybe I was slower. Maybe I needed people to come and explain some other things to me. I would catch up in the end because, I think in the end, while there are challenges, you still have to sit up and know that,
Yeah.
guy, I need to show up
Yeah.
regardless. Like, I need to show up. Even if it's for the kids, I need to show up. One. Two, I also felt I almost lost myself
Mm,
at a certain time. Like, I won't pack my hair. I won't just go, just wear my wig and go. But then I learned to, and these kids will grow up, and you're the only one that will remember all these parts. So brush your hair once in a while, do your lashes if you can,
yeah.
put on your lipstick if you can, do
Mm,
your skincare if you want, if you are into it and all. Do something for yourself because you would just be soaked so much into motherhood every day. Like it's part of our 24/7 life. So if you don't step out of the
to be honest.
environment, you will be.
Carry it everywhere with you. I can really relate with that self judgment. I can relate self judgment on both ends. So it's like, oh, my employer and my team are relying on me, and it seems like I'm letting them down.
Down. Mhm.
And sometimes, oh, my kid, I had this child, the child is my responsibility. Am I slacking? Am I being a disappointment of a mom? Am I doing good enough?
Mhm.
Am I Yeah, it's a constant battle of the mind. And like you say, giving yourself grace and reminding yourself that what's important is important. It has to be done anyway.
It has
Oh
to be
wow, I
done.
can totally relate with that. So coming to employers now, employers, managers, people who have authority in the workplace, what can they really do to enhance? And I know you've started hinting at some of those things like community and all, but what do you think are those practical things that they can do more to strengthen belonging so that pregnant women who are mothers, don't come to work feeling some type of way, to ease the pressure that comes with that balancing act? What can employers really do? How can we all work together? Because the theme for International Women's Day 2025 is accelerate action.
Absolutely
All
action.
about action.
Yeah.
right? How
Mhm.
can we do better to accelerate action for equality, for inclusion, and for belonging for moms to be and moms at work?
Mm. I think the very first and most powerful action, and I think I shared it through what I've said about that my previous boss, even my current bosses do like that. It's creating a psychologically safe environment.
Mm,
That's what I'll say is the first thing. And I think employers, managers, people in authority need to learn to allow people speak up. Even the simple act of saying, so, both of us are here, we've spoken about our journey, and I'm not being able to say, I can't come back to work after this antenatal class. I need to even just rest and sleep.
yeah,
Like, I mean, I've been out, I've been walking up and down, I've been trying to get blood tests and do this, that, that, that. And I'll just maybe pressing my belly to do
yeah,
scan. Eh? I just need so just allowing people create that psychologically safe environment. I knew someone who was throwing up on calls. Like she'll just put off her camera, put off her thing, have a bucket and throw up, and then put it back on and then smile and show her face on it.
yeah,
You don't know what the person might be going through. So I think the first thing is that. I think there are a lot of policies that we need to relook and,
yeah,
look at what does it say for our current realities, right? As people who are, you know, there's something about saying 3 steps ahead. We talk about it in my office, and it's something I believe in. So if you look at times when a lot of policies were created, a lot of people believe that a lot of policies generally or labor practices were from a place of maybe one person is working in the organization and the other person is at home with the kids, right? I know. But life has moved far beyond all those things. Two people want to work, bring money to the table as well. So how can we be extremely flexible with policies
yeah,
is the second thing, you know. I think we always try to look for big ticket items, but there are even simple actions that people can take, you know. If I take therapists for people to speak to, reference for people to do, references on who to speak to about this particular situation. How can I support with a few other? Some people might not have the right resources to go to the right hospitals. How can you
mm,
create those opportunities for them as well? Is very key. So and in the workplace as well, there's something around when people are pregnant or mothers, opportunities might not seem so much for them. It might be seem restricted. So how do you make roles agnostic? How do you make opportunities agnostic for say, okay, I have this thing you want to do in can it be to be honest?
yeah,
You do having virtual policies, you can work virtually, choosing because when COVID hit, actually we all
yeah.
worked from home and nothing happened, nobody lost one limb from not going to the office. So now that it's post COVID, lots of people are coming back with the everybody must be at work from 4 hours. And the last thing I would just talk about is holding line managers accountable as well is another thing. And how do you train them, coach them for this kind of opportunities? Some don't know. Some people, they judge your situation based on how they would handle their own situation or what they would
Yeah.
have done or what they went through. So how do you coach line managers to be very inclusive? Having you
Mm,
mindset out of it and angles of how people feel, how people are doing. Like if you have a question, how do you listen first? I know.
mm. And to be honest, I would even say beyond line managers because your workplace experience, like beyond your team and your manager, your workplace experience also, it's influenced by your experience with everyone, like right? And it's important for all of us to have that consciousness and say, this person's experience is different. This person's experience
Exactly.
unique. They need whatever they need, right? I can see
Mhm.
someone relating with your comment around, throwing up and
No
continue
pumping.
call. It's like some women have hyperemesis gravidium where they're throwing up. Like when I was pregnant for my daughter, I threw up from the beginning until the day I was in the labor room. Like it never stopped. Meanwhile, for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, it stops after first trimester, right? So it's really
Exactly.
recognizing those nuances and bringing these stories to the forefront. I definitely agree with you that that's really really critical for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know there are many moms and moms to be who would be watching this, and I wonder if you have any final words of encouragement, inspiration, any final words for them as we all continue to push forward and do our best in this very, very difficult balancing act. What are your final words for them? For
I
us.
think you can. We're all in this together. You can
Mm,
do this. I think everybody. Remember that everybody is navigating life.
yeah.
Everybody still is showing up. But you can show up, but you're not in it alone. So there are different things you can do. I have to do a lot of planning now. So I was never a planning person. But motherhood teaches you that you only
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
so you some things you go through and you think you're the only one
yeah.
going through it, and then you share with somebody as well. That person tells you you're not the only, come here, let me tell you how it's also impacted me.
Yeah. Oh no.
Make your new you work for yourself.
Wow. I don't think there's a better way to put that. And I definitely agree with we're all in this together. And I think we as women need to do a better job of holding out our hands for others. Like when you see a new mom or mom to be in your environment, your immediate environment, being accessible. I mean, not being in a business,
Mhm.
but letting her know that I've been through this before. You can always come to me if you have questions. I'm
Yeah.
happy and willing to support. There's this thing that BC Fayemi says. As women, we should continue to cover wrappers around each other. Like always be there to extend your wrapper around another woman. Even when you've not even gone through that experience before, just being able to assure another woman of your support regardless,
Mhm.
that always matters, and being a voice too, because sometimes
Yes.
you can voice out in the workplace and then you become a villain. You can say, oh, I really need this, and then nobody backs you up, even other
Oh,
who can be
women
some way
can read.
to your experience, and it's really disappointing when you are the lone voice. Yeah. Wow, Yeyemide, we could go on and on, but that's enough sauce for the day. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
I hope everyone has really
It was so great.
this conversation. I cannot wait to have you another time. Hopefully join a live from this location. I really, really look forward to that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. You also enjoyed the
All right.
conversation.
I did. It's a pleasure to be here. And I think, we need to keep, raising our voices and talking about how we as women stand up for, our belonging everywhere. Yeah.
Of course. All right. Happy International Women's
Thank
Day,
you.
everyone. See you on the next one.
Happy International Women's Day. Bye.
Bye.